Okay, this is the study guide for your semester 1 exam, and we're going to call it Semex 1 and study guide. This is problems 1 through 16 today. We're going to do 16 problems a day for the next 3 days, and first period exam will be Tuesday morning. I would suggest you maybe have your notes out, extra sheets of paper. Some of these problems there's room to do on the study guide, there's room to do the work on the study guide, some of them there's not. So number 1, what are the names of 3 collinear points? And collinear means on the same line. So you've got a plane, and then you've got a line going through that plane, and the 3 collinear points are P, M, and N. Alright, number 2, you've got points A, B, C, and D. Question: are A, B, and D collinear? If so, name the line on which they lie. You got points A, B, and D. A, B, and D are not on the same line. So number 2 is just a no. Number 3, you got points P, Q, R, and S, all on the same line. What is the name of the ray that is opposite of ray QS? Opposite of ray QS. Ray QS starts at Q and it goes through S. Opposite rays have the same starting point. So opposite of QS would be any ray that starts with Q and goes the opposite direction. So opposite of QS would be ray QP. Number 4. If T is the midpoint of SU, what are ST, TU, and SU? And S to T is 6x. T to U is 2x plus 32. Alright, if T is the midpoint, then it's in the middle of S and U. And S to T and T to U are congruent to each other. So 6x is equal to 2x plus 32. If you solve for x now, 4x will equal 32, and you can divide by 4, and x equals 8. If your x is equal to 8, you can now go back to the expressions and substitute. So when you substitute 8 for the x, you get 6 times 8, which is 48. So your S to T is 48. Your T to U is the same, so it's 48. And your S to U, which is the entire segment, is going to be 48 times 2, which is 96. Alright, number 5 is the protractor problem. What are the measures of angle FBG? So angle FBG and angle DBC. Then you're asked to classify each angle as acute, right, obtuse, or straight. So FBG kind of looks like this right here on that protractor. And side BF corresponds to a 90 on the protractor, and side BG corresponds to a 55 on the protractor. So this angle measure is going to be equal to 90 minus 55. That's 35 degrees. Alright, so FBG equals 35 degrees, and that is acute. Angle DBC, again, B is the vertex and D is over here. DBC. Alright, using the inside numbers on the protractor, side BD corresponds to about 164 on the protractor, and side BC corresponds to 0 on the protractor. So this angle right in here, DBC, is going to be equal to the, you're going to take the, well, in this case it's kind of a no-brainer, but it's 164 minus 0. So the angle measure is 164 degrees, and that is obtuse. When you're finding these angle measures on these protractors, you just take the highest value that corresponds to one of the sides, and you subtract the lower value that corresponds to the other side. So 90 minus 55 in this case, 164 minus 0 in this case. Number 6. If the measure of AOC equals 25 degrees, the measure of BOC is 2x plus 10, and the measure of AOB is 4x minus 15. Find the degree measure of BOC and AOB. The diagram is not to scale. Alright, AOC, that's this big angle. That's the entire angle, this yellow angle. And you're told that this yellow angle equals 25 degrees, which means the two green angles have to add up to 25 degrees. So your setup is going to be 4x minus 15 plus 2x plus 10 has to equal 25. So you can solve for x, and then you can substitute to find these angle measures. So your 4x plus your 2x is 6x. Your negative 15 plus 10 is negative 5, and that equals 25. So you can add 5 to each side. your 6x equals 30, and divide by 5, x equals 6. So if your x is equal to 6, then your BOC from B to O to C, that is 2 times 6 plus 10, which is 22. And your AOB is the other angle, which is 4. I divided it by 5 instead of 6, I'm sorry. Okay, so divide by 6 down here. And the x doesn't equal 6 then, does it? Yeah, my bad. Alright, let me get my eraser. There and there. Alright, so we divide both sides by 6, and x equals 5. And that's a 5. So that makes that angle 20, right? Alright, 20. And then angle AOB, we got 4 times 5 minus 15. So that's 20 minus 15 is 5 degrees. So there's your two angle measures. Alright, number 7. Angle 1 and angle 2 are a linear pair. Okay, a linear pair, two angles that are next to each other that form a line. So if you just draw a straight line and then take another side out of that straight line, you've got two angles. Okay? We can call this one angle 1 and this one angle 2. The measure of angle 1 equals x minus 33. Angle 1 is x minus 33, and angle 2 equals x plus 97. Find the measure of each angle. Okay, these two angles, if you add them together, since they form a straight line, they would sum 180 degrees. So, you got your x minus 33 plus your x plus 97. That's got to equal 180. So when you add your x's together, you get 2x. And then you got a negative 33 and a positive 97, which is 64, positive 64. Alright, so let's solve for x. Alright, so x equals 58. Find the measure of each angle. Alright, so angle 1 is going to equal 58 minus 33, which is 25 degrees. Angle 2 is going to equal 58 plus 97, which is 155 degrees. Number 8, find the coordinates of the midpoint. So we need the midpoint of 610 and 48. Alright, midpoint is the middle. Middle is an average. So to find the midpoint of 610 and 48, we're going to say that our midpoint equals, we're going to add our two x values together. So we got 6 plus 4, and we're going to divide that by 2. Then we're going to add our two y values together, 10 plus 8, and we're going to divide that by 2. So this midpoint is going to be located at 6 plus 4 is 10, divided by 2 is 5. And 10 plus 8 is 18, divided by 2 is 9. Midpoint would be at 5, 9. Number 9, you've got the drawing. Identify a pair of alternate exterior. Alternate exterior angles in that picture would be 1 and 5, one pair. The other pair of alternate exteriors would be 2 and 6. Number 10, what are 3 pairs of corresponding angles? Corresponding means they hold the same location in their respective group of angles. So 3 pairs. We got 1 and 7, 2 and 4. 8 corresponds to 6. And 3 corresponds to 5. So there's 4 pairs. Number 11, find the measure of angle P. The diagram is not to scale. Angle P sits right here, and you're told by these arrows that the horizontal lines are parallel and the vertical lines are parallel. 141 is right here, degrees. You got lines J and K. Okay, in this case, if everything is parallel, and this angle, if this angle is 141, corresponding angles are going to be congruent in this whole picture. So this 141 corresponds to this angle right here, this yellow angle. That yellow angle corresponds to this yellow angle, which corresponds to this yellow angle. So those 4 yellow ones and all their vertical angles all these yellow angles are 141. So if we take that and we get closer to P and we put a 141 right, I'm going to put it right here. Well, 141, or the yellow angle and angle P, together form a line, which makes them a linear pair. So those 2 angles have to sum 180. So your measure of angle P would be equal to 180 minus 141. Which is 39 degrees. Number 12, the expression in the figure below represents the measures of the 2 angles. Find the value of x. F is parallel to G. The diagram is not to scale. Alright, so here's line F. Here's line G. And then you've got a couple transversals, but the transversals are only segments. And 2x, 5x plus 19. Find the value of x. Alright, if F is parallel to G, this segment right here is a transversal, so if we extend it, you can see it a little bit better. That makes the two angles given same side interior angles. If F is parallel to G, same side interiors are supplementary. So in this case, you got a 2x plus a 5x plus 19 that has to equal 180. So if you combine your like terms, 7x plus 19 equals 180. Subtract 19 from each side. 7x equals 161. And if we divide by 7, x equals 23. Number 13. You got two lines, two horizontal lines, L and M, and they're cut by a transversal. You got two angles, 4x minus 30 and 174. Find the value of x for which L is parallel to M. Alright, if L is parallel to M, then these two angles, which are called alternate interior angles, are congruent to each other. So if you set your 4x minus 30 equal to 174 and solve for x, that would be the value for x for which L would be parallel to M. So add 30 to each side. And divide by 4. X equals 51. Alright, almost done. Number 14. Let's see, we got this triangle here with another triangle inside of it. Actually, we got three triangles total. We got a 56-degree angle, a 43-degree angle, an 11, and then X, Z, and Y. Alright, in the triangle on the left, you got two of the three angles. So if you take 180, subtract 56, subtract 43, that's going to give you your value of x. So x equals 81 degrees. Alright, so I'm going to fill that in down here. X is equal to, this is 81 degrees. Well, angle X and angle Z are a linear pair and they form a line. So they have to sum 180 as well. So Z plus 81 equals 180. So if you subtract 81 from each side of that equation, then angle Z is equal to 99 degrees. Now, if angle Z equals 99 degrees, then angle Y is the third angle in that triangle. So if you took 180 and you subtracted 11 and then subtract 99, that will give you angle Y. So that's 70 degrees. Now what I would do, star this problem, highlight it, asterisk it, do something, because this happens almost every year. Do you see the variables? They go X, Z, and then Y. On your answer sheet, the variables are going to be in order X, Y, Z. One of your answer choices is going to be 81, 99, 70. It's going to be but those three numbers are going to be in alphabetical order. So make sure that your X is equal to 81, that your Y is equal to 70, and your Z is equal to what it needs to be equal to before you just pick your answer. Alright, so just read the answers carefully on that problem. Number 15. Number 15, find the value of X. You're given an exterior angle, one interior angle, and X represents the other interior angle. There's two ways to solve this problem. An exterior angle is equal to the sum of its remote interior angles. So 114 is equal to 43 plus X. And you can just subtract 43 from each side. So 71 equals X. And finally, number 16. Find the value of X again. So you've got a 115 up top, you've got an X inside the triangle, and you've got a 52 inside the triangle. Now be careful here, because this 52 is not an exterior angle. It is not formed by the extension of a side and its adjacent side. Do you see where this 114 sits right here? This 114 in problem 15 sits on the extension of this side of the triangle. Alright? In this next problem, this is the extension of a side and this is the extension of a side. The 115 sits in the middle of the two, which means you take this 115 and you use your rule about vertical angles. If that angle is 115, then this angle is 115. And now you've got two of the three angles inside of a triangle. So if you take 180, you subtract 115, and you subtract 52, that'll give you the measure of angle X. So that's 180 minus 115 minus 52, 13 degrees. Alright, that's numbers 1 through 16. You've been a wonderful audience. Probably one of my best all year.